Hello students, now let's start our last chapter, chapter 18, pollution of air and water. Let's have some warm up first. Look at the picture and answer the question. What is coming out from the chimney? Does this affect the air? Let's know about air pollutant, acid rain, water pollution. Our mother planet, the earth, provides us with vast reserve of natural resources. These resources help us to not only survive but also fulfill our needs. Earth is the only planet known to have air and water, which make life possible. The earth would be unable to sustain life without air and water. We therefore need to take care of these precious resources. Air pollution. Let's see what is air pollution. As discussed earlier, apart from O2, N2, CO2 and other gases, the air over most of the cities contains harmful gases such as CO and SO2. When the concentration of these harmful gases increases, it causes adverse effect in all living things. This is pollution of air. Otherwise, when some harmful substances are mixed with fresh water and change its original nature and properties of air, causes several abnormalities in living beings is called air pollution. Smoke, dust, poisonous gases are some air pollutants. Causes of air pollution. Industries, vehicles, increase in the population and urbanization are some of the major causes of air pollution. Automobile emissions. These emissions are the largest cause of air pollution. The number of vehicles on road is increasing of an alarming rate due to increasing population and urbanization. Vehicular emissions are of particular concern since these are ground level sources and thus have the maximum impact on general populations. The vehicles release smoke which contains several pollutants like CO, CO2, chlorofluorocarbons and may also contain lead. Lead is released from vehicles in areas where unleaded gasoline is not used. Industries. Emissions from the industrial planet are the second largest cause of air pollution. The number of industries have been set up due to rapid industrialization. Most of the industries like thermal power plants, steel refineries, and mines use coal as the main source of fuel. The combustion of coal releases air pollutants like SO2, CO2, CO, smoke, dust, and fumes. CO2 and SO2 causes acid rain and smog. Natural causes. Dust storms in the desert areas and smoke from the forest fires and grass fires contribute to chemical and particulate pollution of the air. The other most important natural sources of air pollution is volcanic activity, which at times pours great amount of ash and toxic fumes into the atmosphere. Let us look at this activity, activity 1. You may have covered your nose while passing a prickling emitting smoke or started coughing while walking on a busy road. On the basis of your experience, compare the quality of air at a place given below. Number 1. A park and a busy road, a residential area and an industrial area, a busy traffic intersection at different times of the day, example early morning, afternoon and evening, a village and a town. Look at this picture here. It is the picture of a congested road in a city. And this picture is a picture from smoke from a factory. Air pollutants. Any substance in the air that can cause harm to living things and the environment is known as air pollutant. Air pollutants are normally gaseous pollutants and suspended particulate matter SPM. The concentration of these in the air and near the urban areas is much higher than in the rural areas. A few air pollutants and their harmful effects are discussed below. Number 1. Suspended particulate matter. These are minute solids in the air in the form of smoke or dust that can remain suspended for long periods and are also the main source which reduces visibility. Particulate matter can be divided into two types, coarse particles and fine particles. Coarse particles are formed from sources like road dust, sea spray, and construction activities. Fine particles are formed when fuel is burnt in automobiles and power plants. The finer particulate matter that is small enough can enter our lungs and cause respiratory problems in the human beings. Carbon monoxide. This is produced during combustion. Any combustion process produces CO gas due to incomplete combustion. When CO is inhaled, it combines with hemoglobin of our blood, forming carboxyhemoglobin COHB. After this combustion, the trapped hemoglobin is no longer available for transporting O2. This leads to suffocation and can also cause skin cancer and finally cause death. Chlorofluorocarbon CFC. This is an organic compound that contains carbon, chlorine, and fluorine. Chlorofluorocarbons cause damage to the ozone layer that protects the earth from ultraviolet radiations. The ozone layer is important to all living beings because it absorbs harmful ultraviolet radiation and acts as shield. Exposure to ultraviolet radiation causes skin cancer, eye damage, and so on. Use of CFCs in refrigerators, air conditioners, aerosol, and in industrial solvents should be restricted to prevent the ozone layer from getting damaged. Look at this picture. This is the picture of ozone layer. Carbon dioxide. Air contains 0.03% of carbon dioxide and it is normally not considered a pollutant. However, excess of CO2 is considered a pollutant because it leads to adverse effect on the environment. The concentration of atmospheric CO2 has increased by about 35% since the beginning of the age of industrialization because of deforestation and combustion of fuels. The excess of CO2 in the atmosphere also increases the acidity of seawater, which adversely affects organisms living in the water. The higher concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere also increases the temperature of the atmosphere, causing greenhouse effect. Sulfur dioxide. This gas, normally released from thermal power plants, petroleum industry, and oil refineries, causes heart and respiratory diseases in humans and animals. This also affects growth and reproduction of plants. This is a major reason for acid rain. Nitric oxide. The nitric oxide released from rain, the exhaust of internal combustion engines, reacts with O2 to form NO2, which is acidic in nature. It dissolves in water vapor present in the air to form nitric acid that can cause serious respiratory problems. Ozone. It makes the eyes to burn. It lowers our resistance to common cold and pneumonia. Lead. It is very harmful to growing children. It causes damage to the digestive and nervous system. Therefore, we find that these are various pollutants which cause air pollution up to maximum extent. Acid rain. Rain which has been made more acidic than the normal rain due to the dissolved pollutant such as SO2 and nitrogen oxide is called acid rain. These gases are added to the atmosphere in the following ways. First, all fossil fuels contain sulfur. On burning sulfur, SO2 is produced. Petroleum refineries emit a large amount of these gases. During volcanic emissions, large amount of these gases come out. Internal combustion engines of motor vehicle make a small amount of nitrogen and oxygen to react together to form nitric oxide. The nitric oxide further reacts with the O2 of air to form nitrogen oxide. The nitrogen oxide and the sulfur dioxide dissolved in the water vapor present in the air to form nitric acid and sulfuric acid. Look at this chemical reaction, students. 4 atoms of NO3 plus O2 is equals to 4 NO2 plus O2 2H2O makes 4HNO3, which is nitric acid. 2SO2 plus O2 plus 2H2O makes 2H2SO4, which is sulfuric acid. When it rains, nitric acid and sulfuric acid in small amount are washed out to the earth. Damage caused by acid rain. Number 1. Acid rain causes extensive damage to the soil. Acid rain causes excessive damage to the soil and forest. It damages the forest by damaging their leaves, which turn yellow. It contaminates the streams and rivers, with the result that certain species of fishes die. It corrodes buildings and statues, especially those made from marble and sandstone. Taj Mahal, situated at Agra, is getting damaged due to acid rain. Project Save Taj. The Supreme Court of India has ordered the industry in Agra to make the use of CNG and LPG as fuels instead of the more polluting fuels such as coal. Also, people have been advised to use unleaded petrol and CNG in their vehicles. Mahesh Chandra Mehta, a pathfinder and an environmental lawyer by profession, is known for his effort to protect the country's natural and cultural treasure. In 1984, he began a battle to protect the Taj Mahal from industrial pollution. As a result of Mehta's suit, the Supreme Court of India banned the use of coal by industries in Agra and the neighboring areas. It also ordered the shifting of coal-based industries to a distance and planting of more than 2 lakh trees surrounding the Taj Mahal. Greenhouse effect. Now let's see what is greenhouse effect. The trapping of solar heat energy in Earth's atmosphere is called greenhouse effect. It has been found that the wavelength of UV rays is inversely proportional to the temperature of the object emitting these rays. The solar heat radiations consist of infrared radiations of very short wavelengths as the sun is at extreme temperature. These radiations easily pass through temperature of the atmosphere. The long wavelength heat radiations cannot easily penetrate the atmosphere because CFC molecules and clouds act as an excellent reflectors. The gases such as CO2, water vapor, CFCs and methane are called greenhouse gases. Thus, heat radiations are trapped in the atmosphere, which keeps the earth reasonably warm during the night. Harmful results of the greenhouse effect. As a matter of fact, the greenhouse effect helps in keeping the earth reasonably warm and hence in creating better conditions for the survival of life. Due to an increase of CO2 amount in the atmosphere, the average temperature of the earth has gone up by 2 degrees Celsius. It is feared that if temperature rises further, it might result in global warming. Thus, in turn, will melt the ice on the polar caps, thereby raising the level of seawater. Look at this image here. This is the image of greenhouse effect. Useful applications of greenhouse. Growing vegetables and flowers in snow-bound regions. In cold countries, flowers and vegetables are grown in the specially designed sheds. In fact, the name greenhouse effect by itself is derived from the green plants grow in the glass shed. Second, use of glass in keeping house warm. In cold countries, the window and the doors are double paneled with thick plain glass. The glass allows smaller heat radiations of solar energy to pass into the rooms. Thus, a greenhouse effect is created which keeps the rooms reasonably warm. Global warming, a serious threat. Global warming can cause sea levels to rise dramatically. In many places, coastal areas have already been flooded. Global warming could result in wide-ranging effects, plants and animals. Majority of people living in regions which are threatened by global warming area in Asia. A change report gives us only a limited time to keep the greenhouse gases at the present level. Otherwise, the temperature may rise by more than 2 degrees Celsius by the end of the century, a level considered very dangerous. Water pollution. Water pollution is the contamination of water with chemicals or other foreign substances that are detrimental to living organisms. The unwanted substances that cause water pollution are called water pollutants. Pure water is tasteless, colorless and odorless. The water we drink has mineral salts dissolved in it, which imparts taste to water. The water you get from the tap in your house may taste different from the water you get from the school. If the water has disagreeable taste or odor, chances are it is due to one or more pollutants present in the water. Sources of water pollution. A few important sources of water pollution are as follows. Number 1. Domestic sewage. This includes waste generated in homes due to day-to-day activities. Human excreta, food waste, plastic wrappers, soaps, and detergents are normal garbage generated in homes. Some of the microorganisms present in these waste multiply using the oxygen dissolved in the water. This causes depletion of oxygen, resulting in the death of the aquatic fishes. Some inorganic water pollutants promote growth of weeds, which result in the reduction of dissolved oxygen. Agricultural runoff. The use of land for agriculture and the practices followed in cultivation greatly affect the quality of groundwater. Intensive cultivation of crops causes chemicals from fertilizers and pesticides to seep into groundwater. Routine application of fertilizers and pesticides increase the nutrient content of water, leading to eutrophication. Such conditions are reasonable for massive growth of weeds and algal blooms, which use almost all the dissolved oxygen in water. This creates a problem for the aquatic forms to survive. Industrial effluents. Wastewater from industries like paper and sugar mills, distilleries, leather processing system, pesticide manufacturing units contribute to water pollution. Industrial wastewater usually contain specific and rapidly identifiable chemical compounds that are harmful and toxic. Chemicals such as mercury, lead, copper, cadmium, which are part of effluents of the industries, can affect the nervous system and cause skin infection when they enter the human body. Oil spills. Shipping and drilling operation in oil rigs may sometimes result in the leakage of petroleum into the ocean. This endangers the life of marine plants and animals. Thermal pollution. Power plants and some factories use the water from streams or lakes as a coolant. The hot water is then returned to the water bodies, thereby increasing their temperature. This is called thermal pollution. This also reduces the oxygen content of water. The increase of temporary and reduced supply of oxygen affects aquatic life. Let's see this activity. Activity number 4. Try to collect samples of water from a tap, pond, river, well, and lake. Pour each into separate glass container. Compare these for smell, acidity, and color. Complete the following table. Serial number, quality of water, smell, acidity, color. Tap water, pond water, river water, well water, lake water. Effects of water pollution. Virtually all types of water pollution are harmful to the health of humans and animals. Water pollution may not damage our health immediately but can be harmful after long-term exposure. Industrial waste often contains many toxic compounds that damage the health of aquatic life and those who eat these aquatic animals. Microbial pollutants from sewage often result in waterborne diseases like typhoid, cholera, and jaundice. Steps to prevent water pollution. We can prevent water pollution of nearby rivers and lakes as well as groundwater and drinking water in many ways. Be careful about what we throw down our sink or toilet. Do not allow litter into rivers, lakes, and oceans. Conserve water by turning off the tap when running water is not necessary. Look at this picture. This is a picture of turning off the tap. Excessive use of chemical fertilizer and pesticides should be avoided and wherever possible should be replaced by biofertilizers and biopesticides. Excreta of human and animals along with organic waste should be used in biogas plants to produce fuel and manure. Industrial waste should be treated and rendered harmless before being discharged into water. Many sewage treatment plants should be built to prevent sewage mixing with water. Both the government and industries should take responsibility of cleaning water bodies like rivers, ponds, streams. Garbage and carcasses of animals should not be thrown into water bodies. Potable water. Potable water is water which is fit for consumption by humans and other animals. It is also called drinking water. Special tests are done to ensure that the water is free of all contaminants and is potable. Potable water should have following properties. Number 1. It should be colorless, transparent and free of odor. Second, it should contain essential amount of dissolved material salt of sodium, calcium and magnesium which are essential for physiological process. It should be free of any suspended impurities, germs and pathogenic bacteria. It should contain dissolved gases such as oxygen and carbon dioxide which gives quality of freshness to water and improve its sparkling appearance. Now let's see purification of water. The water that is obtained from various resources contains soluble and insoluble impurities. So, it has to be purified before it is used for drinking and other domestic uses. Purification for public distribution. Purification of water on a large scale is done in a water treatment plant. Water from a source is passed through screen filters to remove big particles like leaves, twigs, and other impurities of similar kind. It is then sent to a water treatment plant for purification. At a water treatment plant, muddy water is made to stand in large tanks for a long time. Due to this, most heavy impurities settle down in sedimentation tanks. Later, alum is added to water to remove some of the suspended impurities. These impurities, along with some bacteria, become heavy on coagulation with alum and settle down in tank. The clear water above is sent for purification. Charcoal is used to remove the coloring matter. The sand traps the remaining suspended impurities. Chlorination is a process of adding either liquid chlorine or chlorine compound like bleaching powder or sodium hypochlorite in calculated amounts to water to kill harmful germs and bacteria after testing. It is pumped into the public water supply. Methods to purify water at home. Following methods can be used to purify water at home. Number 1. Boiling. This process can be put to use only for small quantities of water. The bacteria and germs get killed when the water is heated to its boiling point. Number 2. Chemical treatment. Water can be purified by the addition of disinfectants like potassium permanganate and bleaching powder. Water purifying gadgets. Modern purifying gadgets involve the use of ceramic candles with fine pores of removing suspended particles or impurities. When water is poured over these candles, the suspended particles in the water do not pass through the pores. Some purifiers use activated charcoal and ultraviolet rays along with ceramic filters to purify water. This is the image of water purifying gadgets. A case study, Ganga Action Plan. Ganga is one of the most famous river of India. It sustains most of the northern, central and eastern Indian population. Millions of people depend on it for their daily needs and livelihood. However, recently a study by Worldwide Fund for Nature WWF found that Ganga is one of the 10 most endangered rivers in the world. The pollution level have been rising for many years. We have reached this stage because the towns and the cities through which the river flow throw large quantity of garbage, untreated sewage, dead bodies and many other harmful things directly in the river. In fact, the river is dead at many places where the pollution levels are so high that aquatic life cannot survive. Look at this picture of course of the river Ganga. An ambitious plan to save the river called Ganga Action Plan was launched in 1985. It aimed to reduce the pollution levels in the river. However, the increasing population and industrialization have already damaged this mighty river beyond repair. Let us see a specific example to understand the situation. Ganga at Kanpur, UP has one of the most polluted stretches of the river. Kanpur is one of the most polluted stretches in UP. People can be seen bathing, washing clothes and defecating in the river. They also throw garbage, flowers, idols of gods and goddesses and polythene bags into the river. Kanpur has more than 5,000 industries. This includes fertilizer, detergent, leather and paint industries. These industrial units discharge toxic chemical waste into the river. Many industries discharge harmful chemicals into river and streams causing the pollution of water. Oil refineries, paper factories, textile and sugar mills and chemical factories are all responsible to it. The chemicals released include arsenic, lead and fluorides. which led to toxicity in plants and animals. The soil is also affected by impure water, causing changes in acidity, growth of worms, etc. Now look at this picture. This is the picture of industrial waste discharge into the river. Now let's summarize the chapter we have just read in a nutshell. First, all living organisms are surrounded by air, land and water. These are essential for life and must be pure and healthy. Second, pollution refers to the contamination or damage to the environment by release of harmful substances. Number 3, you might be knowing the facts that average person inhales about 20,000 liters of air daily. Pollution may be defined as any undesirable changes in physical, chemical and biological properties of air and water, and they may be harmful for human beings. Pollutants may be defined as harmful, dangerous substances which can damage or spoil the physical, chemical and biological properties of air, water and land. Discharge of poisonous gases like chlorine, SO2, oxides of nitrogen, CO, CO2 by chemical factories are the chief sources of air pollution. Pollution by certain radioactive pollutants released into the air from unclear waste have hazardous effect on many generations of living organisms. Now let's see some keywords which came in the chapter. Number 1, air pollution, which means polluted air. Chemical contamination, making air and water harmful through the use of chemical. Automobile emissions, gases and smoke emitted from automobiles. Global warming, warming of the earth's temperature. Greenhouse effect, heat generated by some gases. Pollutants, any substance that makes something harmful after emission. Potable water, fresh water for drinking. Water pollution, dirtying water. Acid rain, rain mixed with harmful agents. Purification, the act of removing harmful substances from something and making it fit to take it. Thank you class. Now we are going to meet in the next class.